just a heads up so you don't get spooked out. This first intro bit, I'm going to be dressed differently. I changed the text after I'd already filmed it because I decided that I didn't like half of what I'd written. So, yeah, let's do it. Take it away, past me. I don't know why I have a skewer. It was just on my desk. Guess who has 2 thumbs and just bought themselves a ring light? Technically, it's Daddy's. But he said I could use it. So I'm gonna claim credit for getting a ring light. As a side note, I don't understand how people use these things. It feels like I'm looking into the sun. My eyes hurt. And if I move slightly too far out of frame, I look like a goblin. I'm filming this quite late at night time, so it is very dark. If I don't have the ring light at all, this is what it looks like. Hang on, I'm gonna put this back. I look nicer. Yay, light. Oh god, I had it set up so perfectly. Why did I move it? This is why I just use lamps from IKEA. Okay, well that's better. What was I talking about? I'm positive it was super important. We're just gonna press on. Hello, everybody. It is another chapter of Littleland. I know, it's been like a month. I've been stuck just with massive amounts of creative block, and it's been really difficult for me to write this chapter. I don't know why, but the other day, have I got something exciting to show y'all. The other day, I got an excellent email. So, a little while ago, I wrote to an artist and I said, "Hello, artist. Can you please do a commission for me of some of the characters that I write a story about on YouTube?" I got some art commissioned and I am so extremely happy with how it turned out. I seriously had to stop myself because when I saw it for the first time, I immediately wrote back, and the email that I wrote back was literally just a paragraph of different ways of saying, "I love it." It was, "Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. It's perfect. It's exactly what I was imagining. You did such an amazing job. Thank you so much." And I read it back and went, okay, you're making your point several times over here. So I dialed it back and I just sent a very calm and collected response back to the artist. But I was losing my marbles over how much I love it. Yes, this is a picture that I got done by an artist called Ami Mercury. And I think I made a Reddit post asking about ABDL artists, and somebody recommended Ami to me. So I went and I checked out their stuff and I saw that they have a comic called Orc Girl, and it's great. I fell in love with their art style and I was like, yes, I have to commission a piece from them, and I'm so extremely happy that I did. And I bet you're waiting for me to stop jabbering and show you the picture. Well, here it is. It's just so perfect. It boggles my mind how I can think of a way that a character is supposed to look and then send a paragraph of description to an artist and they're able to just create this. It's amazing. That is 1000% Miss Mia and Vanessa. Exactly how I pictured them. And I love the little details, like the cameo brooch at her throat, the bunny, it's Chip in Vanessa's arms. So my long-term plan is to get commissions of all of the other characters, and I'm wanting to spotlight different artists when I get the commissions done. So I'll get one artist to do, say, Miss Emily and Aiden, or I'll get another artist to do Dr. Gilbert and Frank. And yeah, and I'm gonna use the pictures in my thumbnails from now on. So I'm so extremely happy. I'm absolutely thrilled. If you would like to go and check out Ami Mercury on Instagram, that would be amazing. They have good work. And they don't just do art commissions, like they do their own ABDL content as well. They do their own like geeky content. Thumbs up. In fact, two thumbs up. That is just the highest praise that I can bestow. So where were we? I'm betting you guys have got a bit of a hankering going on for some Littleland, hey? Do you? I'm really excited about more Littleland. Oh, anyway, yeah, that was my whole point. Doing the commission brought my mojo back. I'm really excited about the story now that I have a visual to go along with it. So that's making me going, yeah, I'm gonna finish this chapter. If you're really good, maybe it'll be a really long chapter. I'm just kidding. I already know that you guys are really good. So it's gonna be a long chapter. So here's what I want you to do. Because it started to get pretty cold where I am, I've got my bunny hat on, I've got my blanket, I'm all tucked up, and I'd like you to do the same. If it's hot where you are, obviously less blankets. Lay down, get yourself in the most comfy position that you possibly can, and get ready to hear a story, okay? Okay. The route they took wound slowly upwards. The forest grew denser still, and glistening, powdery snow could be seen atop the tallest of the pines. "Snow!" cried Vanessa. "It's actually snowing!" A murmur of excitement went up from the group. The caregivers shared fond smiles as the little ones chatted animatedly. Even Frank had emerged from beneath his blanket to marvel at the view. At last, the van turned a corner, and a clearing in the trees was visible. In this clearing stood a large, multi-story log cabin with puffs of smoke floating upward from its chimney and disappearing into the clear blue sky. A tall fence surrounded the cabin, marking a barrier between the small front lawn and the nearest stand of trees. Light streamed through narrow gaps in the branches and pooled on the white forest floor. The forest looked enchanted, as if it guarded a mystical secret. The lawn, as well as the surrounding area, was blanketed in a layer of dense snow that crunched as they rolled over it and into the carport. As the van parked, and the little ones were bundled into the arms of their caregivers, Vanessa looked over Miss Mia's shoulder to take in her surroundings. When she turned her head, Vanessa noticed Frank's expression. He was positioned similarly to her, in Dr. Gilbert's arms. He rested his chin on the doctor's leather coat and gazed out at the landscape in sparkling-eyed wonderment. His cheeks were already reddening from the wind, his mouth agape. It was the first time Vanessa had seen him without his trademark glower. The doctor leaned down and whispered something in his ear, and his cheeks reddened further. He did not frown, however, and he continued to survey, a tiny smile becoming visible on his face. Vanessa grew a smile of her own, and she tightened her grip around Miss Mia's shoulders. "Pretty, hey darling?" asked Miss Mia, patting the little girl on the back and placing a kiss on her brow. "It's magical," said Vanessa softly. So magical, in fact, that Vanessa hadn't even registered the temperature until they stepped inside the cabin and stood in the glow of a roaring fireplace. The warmth was delightful, and Vanessa let out a surprised, "Oh!" which drew the attention of the others. Mia set her down on the floorboards and began to remove her fluffy pink boots. It's nice and warm," she offered, somewhat sheepishly. Mia chuckled and, having removed Vanessa's boots, offered the little girl a hand. Rooms sprawled out in all directions. To their left, a sizable playpen banked by couches. To the right, a kitchen and what looked like a dining area. Straight ahead of them was a staircase, which stretched up and into the unknown. Dr. Gilbert strode through the door and began to climb the staircase, Frank still bundled in his arms. As they travelled upward, the little boy folded himself further into the doctor's embrace, attempting to hide his face. There, murmured Dr. Gilbert as they reached the landing. You can open your eyes, little one. No more stairs. Frank remained as he was, his face pressed against the doctor's chest. He didn't care that they'd reached their destination. All he wanted was to be free of the soggy diaper that clung to his backside. The doctor set the little boy down upon a changing table, and it was in this moment that Frank got his first glimpse of the cabin's interior. Everything was panelled in a rough-looking, dark-grained wood. The walls, the floor, the cabinets, even the table upon which he now sat. He did note that this table did not feature the mittens he was loath to become accustomed to. You'll be on the honour system on this trip. This is a good chance to prove what a good boy you can be without mittens. Frank's stomach gave a lurch at the cloying language, and he laid prone, eager to be rid of his leaking diaper. The doctor made short work of it, and Frank gave an audible sigh of relief when the sodden material was peeled away from his skin. That better? Asked the doctor, quirking a smile that made Frank's knees shake. He nodded wordlessly, refusing to allow himself to acknowledge the butterflies that had formed in his stomach at the doctor's attention. Use your voice, little boy, said Dr. Gilbert, mildly, as he balled up the spent nappy and let it fall into the bin with an audible thud. Much better, mumbled Frank, after an extended pause. Good. The doctor smiled fondly. Let's get you into a fresh one. Dr. Gilbert leaned down to retrieve a plain white diaper from the shelf below the changing table. How does that sound? Frank reddened further. It sounded good, but he was unable to speak those words. The little boy raised a single shaking hand and extended his thumb to show his approval. The doctor chuckled as he unfolded the diaper, but didn't press the boy to answer verbally. Frank's blush only deepened as his ankles were gathered and lifted towards the ceiling, exposing his backside. Despite the lack of mittens and the sensation of the doctor's warm hand at the base of his legs, Frank remained perfectly still. He longed to wiggle loose and lower his legs to afford himself some privacy, but Frank had no desire to test the doctor's patience, considering the events of the evening prior. Soon, the white diaper was taped securely, and Frank was lifted into a sitting position. Dr. Gilbert slipped a new pair of pants up the boy's legs, and a new pair of socks onto his feet. Now then, little man, said the doctor, lowering himself to Frank's eye level, do you recall our conversation last night? Frank set his jaw, his stomach coiling. He recalled the conversation with devastating clarity. Yes, I remember. What was it about? Not fighting, mumbled Frank. That was part of it, yes, said the doctor. Look at me, please. Frank had locked his eyes upon the floorboards. At the doctor's instruction, he forced his eyes upward. Good boy, said Dr. Gilbert, giving Frank a gentle smile. I believe it also had something to do with naughty language. Does that sound right? Yes, sir, whispered Frank. We'll continue that conversation before bed this evening, said the doctor, meaningfully. Frank had expected this news. It was not welcome, but at the very least, it wasn't a surprise. He knew that when all the nastiness had been taken care of, there'd be a time when the doctor would cradle him, hold him close, kiss his brow. Frank also knew that before he was held, he would be upended over Dr. Gilbert's lap, and a very important lesson would be expressed upon his backside. Frank gave a very long sigh. enjoyed having a story today. Thank you all for tuning in and for watching my story. I hope you all have a really excellent week. Bye, everybody.